Hi everyone, my name's Andy Robertshaw. I'm going to be solving another daily Killer Sudoku puzzle. So it's today's level 10. Today is Monday the 5th of May 2025. I've been asked if I can have a look at today's level 10 puzzle, which is numbered 29263. That's 29263. Okay, let's have a look then. Here's the puzzle. As usual, I like to start where I've just got one or two options. So I've got 11 of size 4 there. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, the only thing it could be. Let's have a look at these two bottom rows. I've got two nearly complete rows with a total of 81. So the two rows add up to 90. So this one plus this one is 9. But I've already got 1, 2, 3 and 5 in this cage. So I've got to have 4, 6, 7, 8 as my possibles there. And whatever makes it up to 9 here. So 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, a 14 cage here of size 2, 5, 9 or 6, 8. I've got 24 plus 16, which is 40 there. So these two are 5, 1, 4 or 2, 3. I've got a 22 cage of size 6 there. That's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So you remember the minimum for 6 is 21. This is one more than the minimum. So all this could be is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Sorry, 7. Okay, and whatever this is, I couldn't have in the cage. So I couldn't have a 5 there because it would not allow a 5 in the 22 cage. So that one's not a 5. And that one is not the 9 that would have gone with it. Okay, this side doesn't look quite as interesting. I've got a 34 from 6 there. I will have a few options for that. I've got 35 there, so these two add up to 10. Again, that's not that interesting. I'll have a look at this 13 cage next. I'll put in all the options 4, 9, 5, 8, 6, 7. But I've already got a 5 in this 11 cage, so that one isn't a 5. And that one isn't an 8. Right, what else do I see? I can add this box up. I'm not sure if it will lead anywhere. But 24 plus 25 plus 11 is 60. So those four add up to 15. Smallish for 4 cells, but again, not that interesting. In fact, these 4 cells between them must consist of the numbers not in the 22 cage, namely 6, 8 and 9, and also the one that goes here, the 1, 2, 3 or 4. Okay, I'll put them in. I've only actually ruled out 2 options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. I couldn't have a 9 though in this one because I need 2. I'd have to have at least 3 between those 2 cells to make it up to 11. So can't have the 9 there. If I add this middle cage up, what have I got sticking out of that? So 11 plus 27 plus 14 is 52. So that one plus that one is a 7. So I can't have an 8 there either. And this has to add up to this to make 7. So 1, 6, 3, 4... or 5. In fact, something else interesting, this 34 cage must contain a 9. So if you think of this being a 34 cage of size 6, it's missing 3 numbers, and the 3 missing numbers have to add up to 11. So 9 cannot be one of them. The 9 must be in the 34 cage somewhere. So I couldn't have a 9 here. And I couldn't have the 4 there that would have gone with it to make up that 13. Okay, so I don't suppose this row is very interesting yet. 21, and I've got a variety of things there to go with it. What have I got here? A 13, a 19 and a 21. That's 70. So I've got 25 between 4 cells here. So 70 is 45 plus 25. 25 is quite a lot for 4 cells. But again, still lots of options. What have I got? If I look at the bottom 3 rows and these 4 cells, I will add them up. So 17 plus 13, that's 30, and 11, 41, and 21 is 62, and 19 is 81, and 30 is 111, and 21 is 132, and 14 is 146, and 16 is 162. Yes, I've got 162 there. So those 4 are 17 between them. That's more interesting than it first looks. So 17 between those 4 cells. In fact, it's not 17, it's 27. That's more interesting still. Yes, so 3 rows add up to 135, 3 times 45. So that means those 4 cells add up to 27 to get to 162. Well, I can't have anything less than a 3 in there. So we can rule out 1 and 2 from that 16 cage. So let's just put in out everything at least 3. So what else? If I got a 9 there, I need the 9 in the 34 cage. The 9 would also have to go there. So that's... I can't rule it out straight away. So that's actually quite interesting, even though I've not got anything concrete from it yet. Okay, so what's... Let's have a look at these. 17, 13, 11, that's 41. And 21 is 62, and 19 is 81. That's 111. So 21 between those 4 cells. Right, again, I'm going to say a few things. I don't know how interesting they're going to be. 121 between that set, so 31. That's interesting, isn't it? I've got 31 between this, and this. 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 is only 30, so we're going to have an overlap of a big number. Right, so let's stick with that for a second then. 31 between those 4 cells. So if I've got 3 there, the most I can have is 9, 8. So if I've got 3 there, I could have 9, 8, 9. 9 plus 8 plus 9 is 26. So I need at least 5 in that one. So let's forget the 3 and the 4 there. The most I could have there is 17, 8 plus 9. So I need at least 14 between those two to make that up to 31. Now 14 I could have 5 plus 9, but I've already got a 5 in that box. So I need at least 6 there. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. So, again, nothing concrete, but that's certainly interesting. But what this does show is that the 4 in this box has to be one of those 2. So firstly, not a 4 there, but I need 4 and a total of 13 to go with it. So I can't have a 3 in the 17 box with the cage with the 4. I also, if I've got a 4, I must have 4, 6, 7 or 4, 5, 8. They're the only options I've got for this with a 4. So I don't have a 9 in this 17 cage. So 4 with 6, 7 or 5, 8. But not a 5 there. So if I've got an 8 in the 17 cage, it's 4, 5, 8. The 5 must be that one. That one cannot be an 8. So I could have 4 with 6 and 7 anyhow. Or I could have 4 with 5 at the top and an 8 to go with the 4. Right, so this is getting more and more interesting as we go on. I've eliminated large and small numbers, I think, from that cell. If I go back to this row, I'll select it all. I did add it up earlier. 162. So those 4 cells add up to 27. So could I have the 4 there? Yes, I'd need 6, 8 and 9 to go with the 4. So I could have 4, 6 and 8, 9 between those two. 4, 6, 8. I'm just trying to think a bit ahead here. I can't rule anything out. So if you just try and remember what I said a short while ago, 4 there will give me 6 there, and 8 and 9 there. This set, so those 2 plus those 2 added up to 31. So if I've got 4, 6 and 8, 9, I'd have 14 between those two. I'd have 6 and 8 between those two. My 4 there would go with a 9. So it would leave me 4 and 7, which are right to go with the 6. So I can't rule that out. If I've got a 5 there, I need 22 between those 3 cells. So I'd have to have 6, 9 there and 7 there. The only way to get 22 from those 3 with a 5 there is going to be 6, 7, 9. The 7 would have to be in that one. The 6 and 9 between those two. Well, let's follow that one through. So 5, 6, 9, 7. So I'd have an 8 there. With 6 and 9 there, and a total of 31, I need 16 between those two. So these 2 plus these 2 are 31. 6 and 9 is 15, so I'd want 16 there. I'd have 8 there to go with the 5. So 7, 8, 9. I'd have 4, 6. It seems to work out okay, so I'm not having any luck as yet removing that. In fact, I can remove the 6th from there, can't I? Because I'd have 8 and 9 there. 6 there for 8 and 9 there, that's 23. I don't have 4 as an option there, which I'd need to make up the 27. So 6 can go from that one, and the 7 that goes with it there can go. Right. Anything else? Well, I might as well try the 7. I've done all the rest of them. So 7 there will give me a total of 20 between these 3. In fact, the only way I could do that, I'd have to have 5 or 6 there if I've got 7 there. So for a total of 20, 6 would have to go with 8 and 9. That doesn't work. So 7, 5. So I'd have to have 15. 7, 5 and 6 and 9 there. So 7, 5, 6, 9. And once again, 7 and 9 between those two. I'd have to have 6 there to go with the 7. So 6, 7, 9 there. 6, 7, 4, 8. 4, 8 go with the 5 there. That all seems to work. However, I think I spotted something else. Yes, for my 27 along here, I do need a 9. So once again, I'll highlight these cells. My total of 162. So this plus this plus this plus this is 27. To get 27 from 4 cells, I need a 9 because 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 is only 26. So I do have a 9 there. It could be 9 with 6 or 9 with 8. So I've got 15 or 17 there. So I want 14 or 16 here. So, because remember, once again, these were 31. So 14 or 16. So that would be 6 and 8 or 7 and 9. So can I find any common consequences out of that? So 6 and 8, 9, 4. So remember, 8, 9 there. I'd have So 6, 8, 9, 4, and I had 8 and 9 there in order to get the 6 and 8 there. So 4, 8, 9 is 21. I'd have 6 there. Right. Okay, we'll just remember that for a second. 7, 9. I'd have 6 and 8 there. Sorry, I'd have 6 and 9 there. 6 and 9 between those two, which is 15. I want a total of 12 between those. 5 and 7 they would have to be. So 6 and 8, 5 and 7, but I'd have to have a 7 there and a 5 there. If I've got 6 and 8 there, I couldn't have a 5 there because I'd have to have another 8 there. So that means then that right, I've lost my train of thought. 6, 8 there. Right, I'm sure I eliminated something. Let me go through this once again. So I must have a 9 as one of those two. I don't have a 9 there. Let's rule that one out. Must have a 9 as one of those two. It could be with the 6 or with the 8. And I want to keep an eye on what I've got here depending on that. So 9, 8 is 17. I want a total of 10 here. The only way to do that is 4, 6. 9, 6 is 15. I want a total of 12 here. It could be 5, 7, one way or the other. But 9, 6... 9, 6 there for 15 would have to give me a total of 16 there. So 7, 9 there. It'd give me not a 9 there, 6 or 8. In fact, I think it could work either way round. So I think I've just spent 5 minutes talking nonsense. So apologies for that. Right. So 5, 7, 6, 9. So one thing I am seeing on a bit of a different line, well, sticking to this sum of 27, my set of numbers that make up that 27 could be 8, 9, 4, 6, or 6, 9, 5, 7. So in any case, I need a 6 as those. I don't want a 6 as either of those. And I can rule that I seem to recall a total of 7. I've got 52 there. This plus this equals 7. I've taken 6s out. I can take the 1s out as well. Right, so this is quite nicely ruling out possibilities for there. I know I've got a 1 in that bottom row of that box somewhere. But what could I have with it? Let's consider all the possibilities. And I think there are only 2 sets of possibilities to go with the 1. So 9, 8, 4, 6, 2, 5. Which will give me 1, 3, 7 as my options for those. Or 9, 6, 5, 7, 3, 4 will give me 1, 2, 8. So I've got 1, 3, 7 or 1, 2, 8. So a total of 11 in the bottom row of that one. What else? So 1, 3, 7 or 1, 2, 8. If I've got 8 there, I'll need 1 and 2 here, but I also need 1 and 2 to make up 11 in that cage, so I can't have 8 there. And I can say similar for the 7 there, can't I? If I've got 7, I need 1, 3 there. And I also need 1 and 3 to make up the 11 in that cage. So let's rule the 7 out as well. So I've got 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. What could I have with this? So let's try and think carefully now. So if I've got 2 there, I'd have 1, 3, 7 there. So 2, 1 and 8, or 2, 3 and 6. If I've got 3 there, I'd have 1, 2, 8. So 3, 1, 7, 3, 2, 6. And if I've got 4 there, I'd have 3 there, I'd have 1, 2, 8 there. So the 4 would either be 1 or 2 there. So 4, 1, 6 or 4, 2, 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8 are my options for that 11, that cell in the 11 cage. Shall we do something for the 14 cage? So if I've got 3 there, I've got 1, 2 and 8. So I couldn't have an 8 there because I'd need another 3 to go with it. The 3 would have to go with 1 or 2, but it couldn't go with the 1 either because I need 10 there to make it up. So it'd have to be 3, 2 and 9. If I've got the 4 there, I've got the 3 there. So again, I've got 1, 2, 8. So 4, 8. I can't have the 2 there, so I can't have 4 with 8. 4, 2, I'd have an 8 there, can't do that. So 4, 1, 9. So if I've got a 4 there, I'd have a 9 there again. And if I've got a 5 there, obviously not going to be a 9 that time, but 2 there, 1, 3, 7. So 5, 7, 2. 5, 3, 6, or 5, 1, 8. So I do have a few options there. Okay, so what's next? Shall we have a look at these again? We touched on these earlier. 111. So that is. In fact, I might as well just look at those 2 cells from this side. 16 plus 14 plus 21 is 51. So those 2 are 6 more than those 2. And we know that these 2 are 15 or 17. So these 2 are 9 or 11. Okay, that's bang in the middle. I've got lots of options for that. No. Right, what else? Anything else we see? In fact, I've seen a triple here, so 6, 8, 9 must be those 3 cells in that box between them. So this one is 6 or 8. So does that help? If I look here again, 60. So these 2 plus these 2 are 15, but I've got a 6 or an 8 there. So the least I can have here is 6 plus 1 for 7. The most I can have there is 8. So nothing more than 7 there. I think there's probably something I can do with that cell as well. If I've got to have a 7 there, I need 6 and I need 1s in both of those. So I'm not going to have a 7 there. If I've got a 6 there, I have to have an 8 there. That's 14 already. Again, I can't. I've got to have at least 3 there, so that can't be a 6. If I've got a 5 there, I could have 6 there and 1 and 3 between those 2. So not for that reason. Could I do something else? If I have 5 there, so I had 5, 7 or 4, 6 between those two, I'd have to have 4 and 6. I'd have to have 3 there and another 4 there. So if you remember, this plus this is 7. These two, as I discussed earlier, could be 5, 7 or 4, 6. So if I've got 5 there, I need 4, 6 there. So I'm stuck for both options. I can't have a 5 there, so I'd have to have 3 or 4. I'd have to have these two adding up to 7 being 3 and 4, which is impossible with that. So that one is not a 5. I feel like I should be able to do something interesting with the 4 as well. Let's have a quick look at that one. 4 there would give me 5, 7 between those two. So I'd have to have 3, 4. So 3 there, 4 there would have to be that way round. Is that interesting? 3 there, 4 there, total of 7 there, so 2, 5 or 1, 6. I feel like I'm running into a sea of options there, so I'll park that for now. I could have 7 there, 6 there, and both ones there. That's a possibility. But if I look at this one, that's 35. Those two are 10. I can't have a 5 there because I need another 5 with it. Let's top this up with options to add up to 10. So 4 and 6, 7 and 3, 8, 9. But I can rule some of those out, can't I? So 8 and 9 in that box must both be within that 34 cage. So not 8 or 9 there, not 1 or 2 there. So what else could I... So if I've got 7 there, I want 7 there. If I've got 6 there, I want 6 there. 4 there, I'd have to have it in one of those two. And 3 I'd have to have in one of those two. Okay, so... But that set of 10 is either 3, 7 or 4, 6. So I now know in this row, I've got 3 or 4 there, because these two add up to 5. I've got 3 or 4 there, because those two add up to 10. So that's 3 and 4 spoken for in row 3. Right, is there anything else I can do on the consequences of this? So... So we've got to remember as well, these 4 cells between them consist of whatever is here and the 3 values that add up to 11 that are not inside the 34 cage. So let's go with that in mind. If I've got 7 there, I must have 7 here, and I must have 3 values adding up to 11 there. So 7, 5... And I need a total of 6 then to make up that 5 to 11. So 4, 2. So 5, 7, 4, 2. And remembering these 4 add up to 15. And I've got 2 and 3. So I could have 2 or 4 there. In fact, that would have to be 4. Because I have to have, because these two add up to 5. I've got 3 there. I've got 1, 4 there. Okay, so that's all right. Let's try the 6 there. Then I've got 6 there, and the 6 went with the 4 there. So I'd have to have 2 numbers that add up to 7 to go with the 4 to make up 11 on these two. So 5 and 2. And 4 there, so 2, 4 for a total of 9. So 6, 4, 2 for a total of 9 there to make up the 15. But these are 2 and 3, So again, I'd have 3 and 6. So I've noticed that whether I have the 6 or the 7 there, I'm going to have a 6 there. Let's try a 4 here now. So that means my 4 in this cage will be one of those two, and I'd have a 6 there. Right. In fact, my 4 would have to be that one. If I had a 4 there and a 6, remember that these two and these two add up to 15. I can't have as little as 5 there, so that's not possible. So 4 there would be 4, 2, 6, 6, 1. I'd need another 4 there to go with it, so that's not possible. So I'll say that again. If I've got a 4 there, I could have a 4 here or here in this cage, in this box, sorry. But I need a 6 there to go with this 4. Now, because these 4 add up to 15, I have to have my 4 there. And also remember that these values are this one and the set of 3 that add to 11 that are not in the 34 cage. So 4 there, 5, 7 between those. So the only way to have 3 adding up to 11 is 5, 4, 2. So 7 would have to go with 3 and 1, but that's not happening. So 5, 4, 2. So 5 is one of those two, and 4 and 2. So then I'd have 2 and 6 there. But these two would have to be 2 and 3. And I want a total of 7 out of those to make these 4 up to 15. That's not happening. So not having a 4 there, or the 6 there that would have gone with it. Can I do something with a 3 there? Let's have a look at that one. So 3 there for 7 there. In fact, I'm already very restricted now. So 1 there to make up the 15. I need... Sorry, I've got a 3 there. 3, 7. So 3 there. So I'd have to have a 3 there, because the 3 is not allowed to be in the 34 cage. So 3 there. 4 there. 5 and 7. Between those two. Okay, it doesn't look easy to rule that one out, if indeed I can. So I'd have a total of 7 there as well. Right, yeah, so I've not ruled out that option, so I've slowly ruled out one of the possibles there. But now we're down to 3 options for that one. Let's have a look at what we could have. So, in fact, I am seeing some common consequences here. So, 3 there, 7 there, 1, 1, so 3 there, 4, 5, 7. 7 there for 7 there. 6 there though for 6 there, so that's the odd one out. So I've got 4 and 6 there if and only if I've got 6 there. Right, so that's a bit annoying. So let's talk, if I've got 3 there, I've got 7 there. I don't have 7 as one of those two. So they're 6 and 8. They're 8 and 9. So these 4 added up to 27. So 10 10 there. 4 and... Right, that is interesting, if I just made sense to myself. So 3... 3 there, 7... 3 there, 7 there. So I said these were 6, 8 or 7, 9. But they'd have to be 6 and 8 if I've got a 7 there. So these 4 cells add up to 31. So if they're 6 and 8, they're 8 and 9. So that makes these to a total of 10. So 4 and 6. Which I thought I just had a contradiction of. I thought I had the 5 and the 7 there. So, but 3 there, and a total 11 there. In fact, 3 there, I need the 4 over here. Yes, so once again, I have a contradiction with a 3 there. So 3 there means 3 there, and 4 there, and 5, 7 between those two. Yet it also means 7 there, not 7, 9 between those two, so 6 and 8 between those two, 8 and 9 between those two, and it means 4 and 6 between those two. So I've contradicted myself having a 3 there, so let's rule that one out. So the 3 and the 7 there are not possible. Right, let's rule 6 and 7 out of this 13 cage now, because it takes up both options for that one. So 4, 6, 5, 7, that one's not a 5. In fact, this 17 cage must now be 4, 6 and 7. We can take the 8 out of it. So I now know this one is the same as this one, and these 3 have to add up to 11. So what options does that give me? 5, 4, 2, or 4 there, and a total of 7, 5, 2. Yeah, so my total 11 then. 5 only gives me 4, 2, or 4 will give me, for a total of 7 there, I already used a 4, so I can't have 4, 3, 5, 2. So that one is a 2. And these two add up to 9, so they're 4 and 5 between them. So no 4 there. So that's my 2 and my 3 spoken for in that row. In fact, as well, I now know I've got both 1 and 4 inside this one. So not 1 or 4 there. So this 5 is 2 plus 3. So that's going to be 4. So total of 15 there. I've got 6 here. So remember, these 4 cells sticking out the 2 boxes add up to 15. I've got 6 there. So I've got to have 9 more there. 3 plus 6 is the only way to do it. With a 2 there. So no 2 in there. That's a 2. This plus this was 7. So 2 plus 5 for 7. So that's not a 5, that's a 4 with a 9. So this one is this one, but we did say, and I will go through this again now, those two are 4, 6 or 5, 7. But just to show you once again, the total of these being 27, 162, which is 135 plus 27. So I've got 4 there. I need 6, 8 and 9 to make up the other 23. So no 7 there, that's a 6. No 6 there, so 4, 7 there. No 7 there, or no 9 there either. So those two are 6 and 8 between them. Not an 8 in that cell. So the 6, this 34 cage is missing 2, 4 and 5 for the 11. So the 6 must go there. Well, it makes up that 4, makes up the 10 with that 4. Okay, let's put these in. 1, 3, 7, 8, 9. Right, so a total of 9 between those two, not a 5 there. So 1, 8, 2, 7 or 3, 6. In fact, I can't have an 8 on that bottom row or a 2, so not a 7 there. I'll have a look at this one again, not a 9, so 5, 1, 8, 3, 6 or 7, 2. Any of those are okay. Okay, what else? So, I should have a total for those two now. Let's look at these again. 51 minus 17 is 34, so that plus that is 11. Not 2, 9, not 3, 8, not 5, 6. So those two are 4 and 7 between them. So not 4, 7 there. Not 3 there either. I've got 4 cells left in this column. 1, 5, 8, 9. Right, so what else have we got? I've got a 7 there, so can't have a 7 in that column. I've got an 8 as one of those two, so not an 8 there. I've got a 5 there, so not a 5 there. 1, 2, 3, 7, 9 is what I haven't got in that column. Include, well, 6 and 8, I'll say I've got those. I've got them as a pair. Okay, so how much choice have I got to go for my 13 there? 1, 5, 7, 1, 3, 9, 2, 3, 8. Still quite a few options. So 19 there without using 2 or 4. 15 there without using 3 or 6. There are options. The 9 can't go in that 11 cage. Okay, I've got 4, 7 pair in this row. So what else? Without 4, 7, 9, I just fill everything in. I can't have an 8 in the 16 cage because it would need a 9 with it. It would already be on 17. So I am having an 8 in this 21 cage. I could have 8 with 7 and 1, 2, 3, or 8 with 4, 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 6. So again, plenty of options. But I do know whichever option I've got, I need a 1 in that one. So 8, 7, 1, 2, 3. You can see in the combinations we've got, but 8 with 7 and 1, 2, 3, or 8 with 4 and either 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. So I'm not having a 1 there. So these two adding up to 7 or 8, 3, 5 or 2, 6 for the 8. Yeah, I've got options, but well, we'll eliminate them shortly, no doubt. Well, I feel like I'm missing something that should be jumping out at me. I feel like I climbed a mountain getting where I have done, and yet I'm so far from finishing this. So 1, 5, 7, 8, 9. Not a 7 there because I've got a 7 as one of those two. Not a 9 in the 11 cage. Also not a 7 in the 11 cage because it would have to go with 3 and 1. It would take out all the options for that cell. So 6. So 2 totals of 9 for those. I've not done anything with the 27 cage yet. Is there anything I can do? It's not immediately obvious to me if there is. So what else can we see? So let's consider the options for this 13 cage. So 9 would go with 1 3, 8 would have to go with 2 3, 5 would go with 1 7, or 1 4 3 9, or 5 7. And again, I think I've got quite a few options. Not a 7 there though. Okay, I might have put too many options in, but nothing particularly good. Though I don't have an 8. I now know the 8 isn't going on the middle row of that box. I also know, or do I know that? Right, no I don't. I won't say that because it's not true. In fact, let's look at these two rows again. I know what these add up to, 9, so I've got 81, 21, 19, 30, 11, 81. So this and this must be 9. So that one is 5 or 2. What can I have with that then? So 2, 8, 6, 2, 9, 5. So 5, 6, 5, 8, 3. They're all possibles for that one. But I do know I have 5 or 6 here, and 5 or 6 here, so no 5 there. Right, so 2, 5, 2, 5. So of 1, 2, 3, 5, I've got 3 of them there. I've only got room for one more of them. Can I have a 19 cage without 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5? Yes, I could have 4, 6, 9 or 4, 7, 8. So that's possible. Okay, so what can I have here? So not 1, 3, 7 or 2, 6. That only actually gives me 4 options for that. So 4, 5, 8, 9 are my only options. Not many. If I look at this, I've got 38, so those 3 are 7 more than those 2. Again, not particularly helpful that I can see. Right, so where next? No. So 5 there, 1, 3, 4, 7, 4, 7. So I should be able to guess what I've got in the 21 cage. So, right, 5. I've got 5 and 6 between these two. In fact, I should know whether I've got a 2 or a 3 there. So 4 plus 7 plus 21 is 32, and 5, 6, 2. I don't have a 3 there. So I've got 2, 5, 6 triple there. My 21 cage is going to be 1, 3, 8, 9. So my 2 is one of those two, and it goes with 8, 6 or 9, 5. Right, okay. So, so that means that the 6 then has to be part of this 19 cage. I don't have a 6. There's no other candidates in that row for a 6. No other candidate cells for a 6. So no 6 there. So 6 with either, I want 13 more, so 5, 8 or 4, 9. Uh, 5, 8. Right. I'm going to use a bit of brute force now. So if I put 5, 8 in there, I've got 1, 2, 3 in the top row there. So 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9. I'd have to have in the bottom row. Yeah, so 5, 6, 8. If 5, 6, 8 is the 19 option, then I have 1, 2, 3 between those three, 4, 7, 9 between those three, and I rule out the options for that cell. So I know the 19 isn't 5, 6, 8. So it has to be 5, 4, 9. Sorry, not 5, 4, 9. Right, I was talking nonsense again, wasn't I? Yeah, 5, 6, 8. What I just said is perfectly true. 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9 rules out the option for that. My other option was 4, 6, 9. So my 19 kg is 4, 6, 9. So I know that's a 7, that's a 4. These two add, that and that add up to 9, so that's a 2. I don't want a 9 there. Right, so does that help now? 5 and 6 there, so that's going to be an 8 and a 6 there. Not a 5 there, so not a 4 there, that's a 7. That one's a 4. So they are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9. 5, 7, 8 between those three on the bottom, meaning my 5 in this box must be that one. So what now then? Not a 9 there. I just feel there's a load of stuff waiting to be eliminated from this. 1, 2. I've got a 2 in this column. What have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. In this one, I've got 4, 6, 7. I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 9. Right, so what else? So that's quite interesting. I've got a 22 and a 24, so they're 46. Those two are one more than those three. Will that be interesting? We'll have to see. Right, so yeah, still thinking about this. One. So what can I have in this 16 cage? So 1 could go with 7, 8 or 6, 9. 5 for a total of 11 there would have to be 4 and 7. 7 for a total of 9 could be 1, 8 or 4, 5. I'm getting lots of options again. Or 9 with 1, 6. In fact, anything apart from the 2 or 3 can go there. But I couldn't. My 9 in this box has to be one of those. So let's get rid of the 9 altogether in the 16 cage. Could I have 8? If I got an 8 there, it would have to go with 1 and 7. If I've got 7 but not 8, it'll be 4 and 5. So 7, 4, 5, 1, 8, 7. I couldn't have a 6 in this 16 cage because there aren't two numbers that go with it to add up to the 10, which means my 6 is one of those two in this 24 cage, and it's one of those 3 in the middle one here. So what does that leave? Let's try and work out what can go with a 6 then. So if I've got 1 and 5, can't have 1 and 5. 6 plus 1 plus 8 is 15, so a 9 to go with the 6. In fact, that's not possible, is it? Because I know I've got a total of 14 there. It is possible. Yeah, I've got 6 and 9 on opposite rows there. 6 and 9, opposite columns, sorry. Opposite ones there, opposite ones there. That's okay, yeah. So if I've got 1 and 9 here, that's 10. So I'd have to have 6 and 8. I can't have 6 and 8 though, because I've got 6 and 8 in the same column in one of those two. So if I've got 5 and 8, I want 6 and 7. I don't, do I? Sorry. 5, 8, no can do. I want 11 more. I want 6 and 5. That's not possible. 5 and 9 is 14. I want 6 and 6. I can't have that. 8 and 9 is 17. I could have 6 and 1. So I could have had 1, 8 for 6, 9. Or I could have had 8, 9 for 6, 1. The 5 is impossible. So 1 plus 6 plus 8 plus 9 is my 24. So let's remove 1s and 8s from that 16 cage. My 8 is one of... In fact, that's the only place for a 5 in that column. My 8 is one of those two, so that one is a 1. 3, 9 pair there, so that one's an 8. 9, 5, 6, 8. Not a 9 there, so 1s have gone there, so 1 and 6 there, not 6, that's 1 and 6 like that. 3, 4, 5, 7 quad there, so 9 there, 3 there. No 3 there, no 5s there. Not a 1 here. So, right. I feel like we're getting somewhere. I probably made it a lot more complicated than it should be. So let's have a look now. Right. Remember I said this plus this is 46. So that plus that is 1 more than that, because 46 is 1 more than 45. And the least I could have there is 2, 3, 4 for 9. If I've got 1 there then, I need 9 there. 2, 3, 4. I could have 5, 7, 9. So that works. Sorry, I thought I'd seen something I haven't. Right, so what else? 5 is one of those two, so in fact I've got a 5 in that box already. There might be a chance to play on deadly patterns between 4s and 7s somewhere here, so I'll bear that in mind. Let's look at this 13 cage again. 1, 3, 9 or 157 or 238. Plenty of options there. Need the 5 as one of those 3 in that box. In fact, I know I've got a 3 here, and they're 1 and 2 between them. So I can rule out the 3s in this column. So on this 22 cage, I can't have 7 and 9. I need a total of 6 to go with them, which is not possible. So I've got to have the 1 in the 22 cage there. So going back to what I said a couple of minutes ago, 22 and 24, 46. Those 2 are 1 more than these 3. The most I could have here is 1 plus 9 for 10, and the least I can have here is 2, 3, 4. So in fact, that's exactly what I've got because I'm completely sandwiched. So no 8 there, no 2s or 3s there. So that completes that one. So no 9, no 5, no 1. So I've got 8 with 2 and 3 in this 13 cage. So no 8s there. No 9 there, that's a 7. So 138. 138 is my options for that one. I can't have a 3 there because I've got a 3 in that cage already. I can't have 2 or 4 there, so that must be my 3. 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9. I need 16 to get that up to 25. So let's rule out some 7s and 9s in that column. So 7 and 2 to make that 9. Right. I've now got a 1 3 pair in this box. So that's a 7. That one isn't. I've got a 6 8 pair, so let's rule out the 8 from that. That's 4 5 9. So my 9 in this box must be here. No 4 there. 4 5 9. So 2's the only thing I don't have in this box. So that's 4 and 2. So a total of 7 here. Can't have 2 5. I've got to have 6 and 1. I can rule out 7 and 9 from that one. So 8 is all I've got left to go in that cell. So 2 3. I've got a 9 there. Don't want one there. Sorry, that should be a 9. So no, 7 there, so 3 4. Right, I'm going to use deadly patterns now. If I've got 1 3 there, I've got 2 3 1 3 1 2. I can swap around each of those 3 pairs with a 1 3 there without interacting with anything else. So the only way to avoid that deadly pattern, in fact, I'll put it more simply. This would have been the only way to avoid the deadly pattern, but the only place for an 8 in that row is that one anyway, so that's fine. I've got 7 in that row, so that's a 1, a 7, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2. Right, so just a bit left to do in the middle now. Not a 4 there, not a 4 there, not a 6 there, so that's a 9. I must have a 5 there, 4, 9 there, a 5 there, an 8 there, and a 7 there. I've got a 4 in that column, so that's a 6 and a 4. So 8 and 1 to make up that 14. 3 and 6 to make up that 11. So not 2, 3. That's a 1, a 3, and that's a 2. So that took a bit of doing. We got there in just over an hour, but that was a very tricky puzzle. Well, I hope that was helpful. Yeah, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.